With not even a week since the last time we flew over Universal Epic Universe, we are back to take a look to see what progress has been made in such a short time. BioReconstruct has been high above Epic Universe, getting us some new aerial views of the construction progress, and we are going to touch on some of the changes that we could make out since earlier this week. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next Universal Epic Universe construction update. Starting off just south of Epic Universe at Stella Nova and Terra Luna resorts, the last section of exterior tiles at Stella Nova has been completed, leaving just the ground level remaining. Next door at Terra Luna, the tiles have made it to the end of the hotel and are working on wrapping around the exterior, making their way down the backside of the hotel. Just up Kirkman Road from these sister resorts, we find ourselves at the entrance to Universal Epic Universe, where there has been some rock work to the right of the entry gateway revealed. All around the entry gateway, theming continues to make progress around the buildings. Inside of Celestial Park, there are a few major details to go over since earlier this week. The cupola for the Constellation Carousel has been completed and sits just outside of the entrance to the carousel. Inside of the dome to Constellation Carousel, we can see several large vertical beams have been installed on the outside of the turntable for the carousel. This is likely for crowd control and theming as guests make their way through the queue. Inside of the second main water feature of Epic Universe that Constellation Carousel overlooks, we saw a section of rockwork beginning to be sculpted on the Atlantic side of the pond last week. This week, we can see rockwork beginning on the show fountain side of the pond. There is likely to be even more of this rockwork popping up all around Celestial Park, since it is seen around almost every attraction. Speaking of this rockwork, the rocks that have been worked on for the last several updates inside of the waterfall for the show fountain appear to be complete and are now awaiting to be painted. Near the main show fountain sits Celeste Tiki Bar, where last update the floor was poured. This time out, the roof of the bar has been nearly framed in and is now ready to receive its first pieces of initial roofing. The courtyard, found in front of the Blue Dragon Pan Asian restaurant, continues to be shaped and poured, as well as the courtyard found in front of the Dark Universe portal. Taking shape from the Blue Dragon courtyard, we can see a pathway that guests will use to walk between the Helios Grand Hotel and the main show fountain. We saw recently a new bridge was added to this pathway, and now on the Wizarding World side of this bridge, we can see newly poured concrete being covered by a tarp. Due to the recent rain, we can see a reflection of the Helios Grand in the main show fountain's basin. What we cannot see in this reflection is that the dome on the roof of the Helios Grand has been completed in those large steel beams. Soon we should start to see the detail work of the dome begin. Inside of the new Wizarding World in the streets of Paris, the pouring of the concrete on the streets closest to the Ministry of Magic continues to make its way towards that 5-street intersection. They are not as far along as I predicted, since I was not expecting another round of aerial views so soon. On the side of the building where the entrance to the theater show will be located, scaffolding has been removed from the building face, revealing a hippogriff painted on the side of the building. Just in front of this building, the foundations for the entrance tent to the theater show are beginning to be formed. Across Celestial Park in Dark Universe, there has been a large section of scaffolding removed inside of the village as predicted. At the front of the village to the left, the broken bridge has been revealed, matching the right side that has been visible for a little more than a month now. Inside of the village, more shingles have been installed on the left side of the village looking towards the haunted forest. The scaffolding that has been removed has revealed an enormous amount of building fronts in view. The detail of these buildings is truly breathtaking, and we can only wait eagerly while the remaining scaffolding still stands. In front of the Manor Gatehouse, the courtyard has started to be poured, with one of the sections closest to Curse of the Werewolf now being covered, protected from the rain. The pathway that has been poured, making its way towards the gatehouse, has now been prepared up until the gatehouse courtyard, and is also making its way towards the backside of the village, seen where the rebar is placed. Next door in Super Nintendo World, the Yoshi Adventure ride vehicles have been covered up, which likely means the end of the current set of ride testing for Yoshi's Adventure. Bowser's Fortress has seen some good progress in a short time as well. The left turrets have been painted in the base gray that we have seen around the entire Mushroom Kingdom, while workers have been busy installing purple exterior board around the right two turrets of Bowser's Fortress. In the front of the Mushroom Kingdom, near Peach's Castle, there has also been 3 additional piranha plants added high above the land. Behind the Mushroom Kingdom in Donkey Kong Country, the coaster building has been completely covered in concrete and foam sculpting, leaving no visible rebar left. Inside of the coaster tracks, near where the minecart splashes through the water, the rockwork is beginning to be painted. Last but not least, in the How to Train Your Dragon land at the Isle of Burk, there has been a major spotting this flight that BioReconstruct pointed out, which we will get to here in a minute. A recent rainstorm has filled the main lagoon that greets guests as they enter the land. This is the first time we have seen water accumulate in the lagoon since it was recently painted in the dark base color. In front of the full-service dining location thought to be named Mead Hall, where we saw a concrete pour being prepared last week, there is now what looks like to be some sort of log theming that is visible in this location. In the shadows of Mead Hall is the target boat ride thought to be named Fire Drill, where we can see water now being circulated in the lagoon. The boat that was also visible last week has also been moved under a footbridge in the service channel. The tarp has been removed that was covering the boat as well, giving us our first look of inside of the boat. Just off of the boat ride lagoon is Spitfire Grill, where a new themed top has been placed on top of the tower on the left side of the building. This colorful themed tower being placed could mark the beginning of this scaffolding being removed in the coming weeks. Now, on to the biggest news of this flight, which is, nearby in a staging area, there has been what looks like dragon houses spotted underneath tarps. These houses are larger than side-by-sides and other vehicles that are parked nearby, giving you an idea of how large these houses are. If you remember, there are several areas around the How to Train Your Dragon land where there are large elevated platforms visible, most notably at the entrance to the target boat ride and at the top of the retail location next to Mead Hall. Are these dragon houses what will be mounted on top of these platforms? It is a reasonable guess for sure. With that theory, that wraps up this bonus Universal Epic Universe construction update. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this update, and do not forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next Universal Epic Universe construction update. And until next time, travelers, have a great one.